lately I've had a complete different view on criminals, basically.
Mm.
There's a thing a couple months ago about people using the word skeet.
Okay.
And how it's like,
I've seen that. Well, I've seen the headline. I never read much into it.
And it's, I guess there's some good points that it's classist.
Give me the lowdown. I didn't read much into it.
So basically, who you think of as a skeet is probably someone who's poor.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
It's probably, if you see someone you're going to call them a skeet on sight, it's probably because they've got like an Exco hoodie on.
Right.
Or a FUBU hoodie or something. Or like their hat's got the sticker's still on it or something.
I got a hat with a sticker still on it.
Yeah, right. I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah.
But like the parallel between people calling people skeets and people calling like minorities in the States gangsters or like hoodlums and street rats and stuff. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The reason why a rapper wears a sticker and the tag on their hat is like a socioeconomic thing from where they came from, being poor, same as a quote unquote skeet does, right?
Right, yeah.
And then you call someone who holds up a Marie's Mini Mart a skeet. But okay, why were they skeet? Well, they took all that money and they went and bought perks with it.
Yeah,
it's like cool. Okay, so that's twofold. They're poor and they're a victim of substance abuse. That is like probably onset from the fact that they're poor.
Yeah,
and like maybe their parents had substance abuse problems and they fell into the same.
Exactly.
So it's like you victimize these people for. Or you villainize these people for what they were a victim of. Right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And so there's this really great, the show Dinosaurs from like the 90s?
Yeah.
Not the Mama Baby.
I was actually thinking about that today.
Really?
Yeah, it's funny you say that.
It might be worth bringing it up on the thing, but they had a running cop show. Like they'd be at home watching TV.
Right.
And it was one of those things where there was this cop show that you'd only see 10 seconds of it in the actual TV show Dinosaurs.
Right.
But if you run them all together, the cop show is like a socialist and communist educational program.
No way.
So they're like going to arrest this guy for stealing a car.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you see, all property is theft. And you are a victim of the socialist. So
no way.
The all property is theft idea, it doesn't really apply to cars. But the guy who owns the factory and has people work there, he's stealing from the people who work there. Like, I don't know. I totally just lost my train of thought. But it all plays together in like people who are stealing things aren't doing it for the thrill of stealing things.
Right. Well,
They're
not the majority, let's say.
No,
there are people like Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
She had that stint in the early 2000s.
Or
but that was a life lived of having everything and still lacking some sort of fulfillment. So she's looking for other kinds of thrills.
Yeah.
And it's
she
thrilling
the store
to
10 times over.
Yeah, exactly.
She needed the
thrill of the adrenaline rush of doing something wrong and not getting caught.
And then there's like Thomas Crown Affair type stuff, like that movie where they're like stealing artwork and stuff.
Okay,
like, these are extremely wealthy people who are doing it because they want the clout type of thing, right?
But the large majority of crime can be traced back to poverty. Oh, yeah. And that's another thing that I was talking about, like how everything is connected to the fact that we live in this scarcity illusion. And if everybody is actually well taken care of, it eliminates, I don't want to put up numbers, but let's just say 90% of crime right away.
Oh, for sure.
Because every bit of crime comes from, like you said, poverty in general and not having enough, and that creates tension within a household, which creates emotional disturbances, which creates mental illness,
and then because of financial stress, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So, and then like I'd say the majority of domestic abuse probably stems from financial or from stresses that were brought on by financial problems.
And the fact that people are turning to alcohol to solve their issues and then getting addicted to it, and that creates a belligerent husband or whatever because he don't know how to deal with his pain that he's suffering from life because he can't afford to pay the bills, and his dad was the same way, so his dad beat him. It all goes back. Like the idea of blaming anyone for anything is pointless. There's no, like, you can find out the cause of things and say, look, this is, you can find out that person did rob the store, find that out. But the answer is not to put them in a cage
Yeah.
where they get subpar food and put them basically in a system where it's even more competitive and even more fearful and less rules and less regulations, that's not going to make them a better person. If anything, it might scare them into wanting to be a better person, but fear is not the right motivator.
No, yeah. They call jail con college for a reason,
exactly right.
Like you're only going to be introduced. It's same concept of when people said marijuana was a gateway drug.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason it was a gateway drug was because it was illegal. And you had to go to a guy who sold drugs to get your weed. And he probably sold other drugs, right? So putting a guy who smoked a joint on the sidewalk in jail, or putting a guy who stole, a cartload of groceries from the grocery store into jail, only puts him into a place with a guy who murdered someone.
Yeah.
A guy who fucking tortured his girlfriend for years.
Exactly.
It puts him in there with all these people and gives him ideas that, okay, when you get out of here, if you can't get your way with this, then you've got this other avenue that you wouldn't have thought of before you came here.
Exactly. And they get to know those people as their friends because they have no other friends. So they have to make friends with these, quote, criminals. And then the guy that murdered someone, you get to know him. You start to understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
You get to understand his motivations. And you'd be like, well, I guess when I think about his situation and why he killed, maybe murder is not so wrong. And then that guy ends up thinking murder is okay. And then when he leaves, he might end up in a similar situation and end up murdering someone as well because he's exposed to that as being an okay thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same reason that rich people commit crimes, like Martha Stewart. She probably wouldn't have gone bankrupt if she hadn't done what she did, but she would have lost a lot of money. Her standard of living might have changed, right? Instead of having 3 houses or 5 houses, she would go down to having 1.
Yeah.
She would have to change. So that's why almost anyone commits any sort of crime like that, is like these people probably, okay, you had a job, you fell into some sort of drug dependency, and you lost your job. You don't want to change your standard of living. You still want to be high all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You still want to be drunk all the time.
Yeah.
So you have to do something now out of desperation to keep that standard of living, which is the same reason why people do stock fraud.
Yeah.
Because they want to keep their jet. They don't want to give that up and go to flying first class.
Yeah.
Coach.
And even when they get their jet, they just want to keep going higher and higher. They want more and more power, more and more freedoms.
It's only easier for those people to do that once your money makes money, right? So, yeah.